welcome to the first Women's Creative and the Collective workshop of 2021. Tonight we are discussing growing together in collaboration because collaboration is vitally important because with collaboration you can often accomplish much more than you can alone. So in 2021, we're really focusing on collaboration, finances, and big picture marketing. So thank you so much, everyone, for being here tonight. My name is Lindsay, and I am a member of the Women's Creative and the Collective team. And we have some amazing panelists here tonight. So if you would, just go through and introduce yourselves to our guests.
I am Drea Rannick. I am one of the owners and the founders of Luso and Tulu. We own this is my sister, Melissa. She's on my right. I don't know if she's on everybody's right. We own a gift store called Luso in Clayton. We've been open since 2000, so almost 21 years. And we also have a side hustle that has birthed a side hustle that has outgrown everything. And that's Tulu, which is also being rebranded under the Luso umbrella. And we do private label and custom headwear and apparel for all kinds of different businesses. And I'll let her explain more.
I'm Melissa, and like Drew said, we're sisters, and we've been at it for 21 years together. And I'll let you figure out who's older. And then I think that, right now I spend most of my time over in our other business, which is like, as Drea just said, we've rebranded. I think, with the time off kind of with COVID, a lot of people kind of finally got to stuff that they've been meaning to do for a really long time. So we went through that process. And so everything is under the Luso umbrella now. And we work, like she said, primarily, we work with the beverage industry a lot. And actually, right now we're doing quite a bit of work with professional sports, which is really fun and very exciting. And I think that's going to be our focus for 21, now that sports are hopefully coming back online in a bigger way, halfway through the year maybe or so. So it's very exciting, but our businesses have allowed us to, and the other thing that's happened during COVID is we've done a lot of collaborating. So I'm excited to be here tonight and talk about some of the cool things we've done together with a lot of other great businesses in town.
Hi, I'm Charlie. I'm the owner of Coda's Events. We're a wedding and event planning coordination service. We do everything from bark days, dog birthday parties, to full service weddings. So, yeah.
Thank you all for being here. And then we also have the amazing Megan from the Women's Creative Leadership Team who is here as well. You want to say hi, Megan?
I'm here. So excited to have these amazing women here for this panel and to have Lindsay leading in conversation. Collaboration is just like such a big deal to us and has been such a big part of our business model and just everything that we do as a women's creative, and we're just so passionate about it. And so we thought it'd be amazing to lead the year with just diving into conversation about it and talking to women who we know that do an amazing job leading out with collaboration and how it's impacted their businesses and all of that. I'm gonna stop talking and let Lindsay do the thing, but I'm happy to be here.
Thank you. And also we have a couple guests here. So if you have any questions that you want to ask during the Q&A and their conversation, feel free to drop them in the Q&A section. And also if you feel a break and you feel like you can just ask it, feel free to do that too. This is a conversation and a workshop. So let's go ahead and dig right into questions. So question one, I really want to start this conversation about collaboration and set the groundwork for tonight. So how do you define collaboration and what is it in relation to your business?
I can go. So being a wedding planner, collaboration is really everything because I don't do it all. I just set it up for everybody else to kind of do their thing. So I'm always talking to the florist or, the officiant, or if we're having a backyard wedding, which has been big in the past, few months or so, we're talking to all of the rental companies and getting tents and things of that nature. So collaboration has always been a really big thing. I know initially starting Coda's, I was just doing dog birthday parties. So I was always looking for somebody to make like a dog cake or something, that would be really interesting on those ends. And for a new wedding planner, I've really gotten into styled shoots and collaborating with newer businesses to kind of highlight them and to get them more out there, along with getting myself more out there. So collaboration is everything.
Thank you.
I think for me, collaboration is as simple as just working with somebody else. There can be a lot of collaboration within your own business. There can be collaboration between businesses. I think that it's just really the idea of, instead of working on your own, is really, bouncing your ideas and working with somebody else on the concept of whatever it is that you're working on.
And I would say that what we do primarily is what Drea just described. So there's a lot of internal collaboration, but in the last year, our business has really presented some opportunity. We've had some really great opportunities, I should say, presented to us, to work with other people. And whether that was because we were having downtime and or everyone was together in their fear of what was happening, and we wanted to work together and be together and continue to look for ways to do really cool things. So I think one of our really cool ones came out of COVID, and then several more followed. But it wasn't natural for Drea and I to be working with lots of other businesses the way that Charlie just described. It was more, we're kind of focused in our own world. And I think we really found it to be so beneficial. We learned so much about other people's businesses and in things that we felt like we didn't need necessarily to collaborate with people on things. We found that it has really enhanced our business and taken us into some areas that are really cool. And I think that was something, it was kind of forced on us though. It really was. It wasn't something we were intentional about. The opportunity just presented itself and it turned out to be a really cool thing. So
it's a lot more fun.
Yes.
I mean, not that I don't mind working with her, because I love collaborating with her daily, but it's so much fun to collaborate with other people.
That's amazing. Thank you all. So you probably have some great examples of collaborations that you've done recently. Can you tell us a little bit about those and maybe who were they with?
I'll jump on that one again. So we did two. We've done two really big ones in the last year. One when everything closed up and everyone was mandated to be closed, like if you had a physical store or certain types of businesses, things like that. We worked with the Women's Creative. So that was like a really cool, big project for us. And we really hadn't done much with the Women's Creative before that either. So that's what I mean about like really nice things coming out of that and really great relationships. And we did 314 Together. We did the merchandise side of the 314 Together initiative. So it was cool because we were able to take what we do every day, and we had a warehouse full of apparel and headwear and artists and people who we felt like we wanted to keep busy and keep using, keep them staying creative and stuff like that. And then the Women's Creative just presented a really great platform for that. So we worked together. Our store was closed. It became a warehouse. People would go and, we would go and work at night in there and put all the orders together. And it was cool. We raised lots of money for businesses and people that were struggling and needed some money. But it was really nice. We just learned so much about what the Women's Creative does and met a lot of people, through that process as well. So that was one really cool initiative. And that's just brought on all kinds of things. Now we work together on lots of initiatives together, and we've met lots of people through that process. So that one kind of just continues to live on. And then I'll let Drea talk about the She Votes, because that was the other one that kind of came out of that a little bit, but it was more timing around the election.
Yeah, She Votes was interesting. That I can't even remember exactly how it came about. But for us, She Votes was a collaboration between ourselves, Betsy and the girls at Joya, and the Golden Gems girls, who I know are also a part of the collective, and Lisa Renee, who I can't remember whether or not she's a part of the collective, but just this really great group of badass women business owners, you know, and that was really just as simple as it kind of came out of, we were talking to Betsy at Joya one day about, I don't know, maybe about the elections and stuff, and like wanting to make some sort of cool t-shirt. And she was like, oh my gosh, I was just talking to the Golden Gems girls and we were talking about how we needed to do something about women and voting. And we were like, oh, cool. And then we kind of found Lisa because we needed somebody that knew more about like sort of marketing and the website part of it. And it just, then we took all these different people that we were already collaborating with, like Kalia from The Surge and, you know, different people. And we were like, we brought them all together to do this great photo shoot, even though it was, you know, spaced out. We had, you know, this great photo shoot with masks and social distancing and all these different people and guys and girls and just all these people supporting the She Votes thing, and turned into a really great, interesting thing. And now we have all these other friends from collaborating with this group of people that we didn't even know before.
Amazing.
So, my two big collaborations that I've done within this past year, the first one was a candle collection, which I was super excited about. With COVID, I've really taken some time to learn a lot about myself and to find ways to take care of myself at home, such as face masks and buying those different candles and, you know, lighting them around the house and finding those different vibes that I wanted in each room, since I can't travel and really go anywhere. So I decided to create a candle collection. But one of the biggest things that I wanted for this candle collection is for every step to be intentional. So before we even launched the candle collection, I told Diana, who is the owner of Terra, that each candle had to have its own scent and its own story, and there had to be a meaning behind every step of this candle collection. So I based the candle collection around my life, basically. So we have the Coda's Events candle, which is like the main candle. It's an aromatherapy candle, kind of for my brides, because I know they've been super stressed with all the planning during COVID and everything changing. And then we have a mini Moni candle, which is the mini ceremonies that we've been seeing a lot of. And that's kind of like a warm and smoky kind of scent. It's supposed to be kind of like you're sitting next to the fire with a loved one under a blanket kind of thing. And then we have the Fairy Godmother candle, and that is what my brides like to call me. So I've kind of taken that and ran with it. So we did Fairy Godmother with like a little accent in there. And then we have the Charlie's Angels candle, which, yeah, thank you, Stephanie. We have the Charlie's Angels candle, which I never really thought about, but I was watching Charlie's Angels one day and I was like, I have that same name. Let's just like take that and run with it. And then I started doing more research on it and we found cute little slogans and I was like, let's do it. And then the base of it all, I kind of took the name of each candle and wrote like a little excerpt about self-care. Fairy Godmother, I dedicated to my mom and my great grandmother. We added rose petals in there because my great grandma's name was Rose. And I really like dedicated that to women. And then after the candle collection, which was a lot of fun, we did a shoot and everything for that. I got to bring Diana in to take photos. We did videography. So we had like little commercials. I let the girls pick out their own dresses based off of their candles. So they got to really pick all of that stuff out. And then hair and makeup, I let them kind of just do their thing as long as it was within the scope of the candle. So I did a lot of collaboration within the candle collection that didn't really have to do with the candle either. And then along with that, I did another shoot, which was with Tammy Camp Photography and Deep Rooted Wedding Films. That was my Phenomenal Woman shoot. I had, I think, 7 girls of all different races, ethnicities, sizes, everything. Everyone was completely different. We took them on a full out wedding shopping spree. It seems like they all got to pick out their jewelry, they all got to pick out their dresses, and we really made a whole experience out of it for them. Um, and in the end, I wanted to make sure that the actual shoot day was just a big party. There's all these different women. We don't know each other, but we can still sit and have fun with each other. We all got dolled up. We all, we had drinks. We were all eating. Like, we all just had fun. And then the ending video, which is on my Facebook page, is Maya Angelou reading the Phenomenal Woman poem. So it kind of wraps in the vision of women being strong, being different, being independent, and just being, bad witches all together. So those are my two biggest projects of 2020/21.
That's amazing and so thoughtful. I love how much thought you put into all of that.
Thank
Yeah, I could listen to you tell your story about your products and your inspiration all day.
you.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I think that is one of the amazing things about collaboration. Sort of, it allows us to kind of bounce our ideas off of other people and then like make more and more ideas. It kind of just rolls up into these other better things.
Mhm.
Yeah, I will say with collaboration, it always makes me so happy when I go to a photographer or I go to a videographer and I'm like, hey, I have this idea. It might be crazy, but I really want to know what you think. And they're like, oh, that's so different. Let's just run with it. And I'm like, oh, okay, like let's let's do it. Cause I'm always like, I don't want to do something that's too out there because I am newer to the wedding industry and I don't want to like, I don't know, step on any toes, I guess. So I try to just like casually bring in my own style to, the world. And I guess people like it. So I've kind of just started running with it, but it makes me really happy to hear you guys say that. So thank you.
Yeah. Amazing.
Well, and collaborations are very impactful, but if they're not done at the right time, you can lose a lot of your luster. So can you talk to us about talk to us about the process of creating collaboration and how do you know when it's the right
time? I guess I'll start off by saying the Phenomenal Woman shoot that I did actually came at a really good time. I know, especially for my friends. So usually for my models, I just take some of my friends and then I might see a girl on Instagram or something like that and I might just take them in. So a few of the models for the Phenomenal Woman shoot were my friends that I haven't seen in a really long time and they've been going through some things. So I decided to kind of get them all dolled up and just make them feel good inside because what's a better feeling than getting your hair and makeup done for free and just playing dress up with your girlfriends. So I kind of took them in and took them all at a very vulnerable state and just wanted to make them feel like princesses. So we did that. But then what was really cool was the election, the day that we found out who our new president was, the videographer was done with our Phenomenal Woman video. And I just thought it was so spot on. Like I was crying all day watching this video because just hearing Maya Angelou's or Dr. Maya Angelou, I don't know how to say her name right, but taking her voice behind this powerful video full of women of different shapes and different sizes, and then seeing someone in the White House that kind of looks like all of us was just like mind-blowing to me. Like this is something that I never thought I would see, and then to have it kind of come together in one day, it was just extremely powerful. So I think in terms of really anything in life, if it's the right time, then that timing will come, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. So even if you don't feel like it's the right time for you to be doing something, if it feels right in that moment, just do it, and I swear it'll come together. Because who would have knew that this video would like be ready on the day, that a woman was in the White House. So yeah, that was just really powerful to me.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I feel like some collaborations take a really long time to kind of bubble up and happen. sometimes there's somebody out there, like Charlie said, on Instagram that we keep seeing over and over that's kind of like in the back of our mind. And then, all of a sudden we're working on something and we're like, oh, who would be great for this, and then it comes back around to something, right? And then sometimes stuff just happens like, boom, and it just comes together in a flash, and then you just know like that it's just right for that moment, kind of like the She Votes thing that we were sort of synonymously working on. It just came together on its own, and we were all like passionate about it, and we all had different ideas about it, and we all had something different to bring to the table for it, and it just like poof kind of came together. So it's interesting how sometimes it's the right time and sometimes it sort of settles into the right time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I feel like that's happened quite a bit with us too in our work. And I mean, it's kind of what happened with Through and For Together. I mean, we saw, it's like we saw a need, and then it was like finding the right people to piece it all together, and just kind of snowballed, and so much has come from it. And so, yeah, I mean, sometimes that timing can be unexpected for sure. And I don't think we started last year thinking that we were gonna, start this whole other thing for the community. But so much has come from it. I mean, and I love hearing y'all talk about just how it's impacted you guys too, and even how She Votes has come from as another layer of that, and so much more. And yeah, I love hearing how collaboration can impact other businesses, because I know how much it's impacted ours. So yeah, timing really is, yeah, everything.
Thank you all for sharing.
Melissa, we can't hear you. I see you talking.
Oh, yeah. Uh-oh.
Try again. No, I can't hear your voice.
That is so weird.
Huh.
You were quiet earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Can always pop back out and then come back in, Melissa. Maybe that'll.
Yeah.
Or turn up your speaker, maybe. I don't know if that matters to your microphone.
That's so weird.
Yeah. Well, we troubleshoot that. So for Luso and Charlie, it really feels like your customers and your stakeholders are truly your your community. It seems like they're your best friends. They're your biggest advocates. They're loyal. So can you tell us how you work with your customers to collaborate in marketing? And you've just kind of alluded to this. So really, how do you use that customer base to amplify your marketing?
I mean, I think it's interesting. I feel like collaboration is sort of like the best kind of networking. It sort of like what Megan was just speaking to, like kind of how it amplifies and multiplies. Do you remember that? I'm showing my age. That commercial, she told two friends and she told two friends and she told two friends. Like, I feel like it does multiply like that way. And that's how we meet these different people, and then we bring them in on different collaborations, and then it turns into something else, and then something else, and, really blooms into something really wonderful. And I think that for us, at Luso in the boutique, like, I feel like every time a customer comes in and we're trying to help them find something, we're very service oriented. So, trying to help them find something, like every bit of that is always a conversation and a mini kind of collaboration, because they're looking for a gift for this person or for this occasion or a wedding or whatever. And, so trying to sort of help them sort through that. And then I think, as far as our Tulu Luso business, that's everything is a collaboration. Every client we have is like a unique, started over at the beginning collaboration. What's this person looking for? What does this client want? What do they need from us? What can we bring to the table? How can we change it and make it new and unique for them? So I feel like it's almost like every client is a collaboration. I'm sure that's that way with Charlie as well.
Yeah, I think as far as marketing goes, for my clients, I wouldn't say I use them as much for marketing, but I've noticed that the more that I put myself out there and post about, my self-care, or if I do like ask me anything, and they're like, oh, my favorite color is blue. And I'm like, oh, my favorite color is blue too. And then, we get those automatic connections, and I've gotten clients based off of what I'm posting in my Instagram story. Like, they're like, oh, like, she loves her dog, I love my dog too. So really bringing the clients in that have those kind of similarities. And then wedding planning in general is just a big collaboration. I basically just set up what I know they need, what I know every wedding needs, and then I take that and discuss the client. I always tell them, give me a song that best represents your relationship, or what color do you think best represents you? Or, just taking those bits and pieces and really adding it into their wedding day, finding if they like a specific flower. Oh, this flower, the rose means a lot to me. So do you want to, I would add a rose to like my bouquet or something like that. Just taking those bits of their personality and adding them in. But as far as marketing goes and collaboration, I think networking has been the biggest thing. Doing styled shoots with these different vendors and really getting to know them, and then them telling somebody else, and then somebody else telling somebody else. That has been literally everything for Codas, just because we can't go anywhere, So doing like a styled shoot and bringing these people in and really getting their ideas and putting all of our ideas together, and then going to the shoot and being able to interact with each other and work with each other has just been huge. And those people I have worked with like once or twice, and then they become, my best vendor friends. And then I'm adding them to my preferred vendor list, and then I'm telling my clients about them, and then they're telling their clients about me. So it's just one big snowball. Everything just kind of like functions after you meet somebody, and then, they really click with you. So it's really all about finding your people. And I do a lot of that through my marketing on Instagram. And I try to be intentional about like my Instagram captions, making sure I can actually relate to these things and we're not just putting anything out there, because that's how I get my clients, is them liking me. So or them liking some aspect of Codas or my dog or my family or something like that. So yeah.
Yeah, as far as marketing goes, it's been interesting for us on our Instagram, our Tulu City Instagram. We really took this opportunity once everything sort of shut down to use it to reshare. And so, Megan, one of the other girls that works with us that we put on the Instagram on that, we just started sharing the heck out of anybody in St. Louis that was doing anything. If they were doing curbside, if they were taking pictures of their cupcakes, like anybody that like was really putting stuff out there into the Instagram world, we just reshared it, and just as much as we could in our stories. And I felt like that was such a fun way to support other businesses in St. Louis. And it really did amp up our Instagram, which was tiny when we started, kind of really helped us have people start following us too, because they saw that we were resharing it. We were talking about these other businesses and stuff. So it was an interesting marketing thing to kind of be, working through that.
That's great.
Or no?
Melissa, we can hear you.
Yeah, okay. I was just going to say, I think that the other thing that's interesting, like what Drea was talking about, is that collaboration really has a way of taking away the competition between people who would normally compete, a little bit. So, it's always an interesting thing, because you say retail breeds retail and stuff like that, but there's always a little competition that exists there, right? So one of the really cool things I think that has happened for us is we've realized all the ways that we can work with people, promote people, be a part of a bigger community of people that are doing similar things to us and things like that, because we can all help each other. We really realize that how easy it is to, like, whether it's through our Instagram or whether it's just through communication in our store or the programs that we're involved in or the collaborations that we're involved in, it's really easy to say, oh my gosh, you should totally check out so-and-so or whatever. She's doing this really cool thing. So collaboration makes it so easy because you get to know everybody. So it's really at your fingertips to be able to be really, just really easy to promote all other people and what they're doing, because you learn so much more about them. I mean, I know so much about what Joya does, and I know so much more about what Golden Gems does, and like what their vibe is and what their store looks like and who their customer is. And like, it's so easy now. Somebody will tell me they're looking for something. I'm like, oh, you need to check out Golden Gems website. They have the coolest whatever it is. So I do think that informalness of working together all the time, you learn about each other's businesses in such a deep way and what they're trying to accomplish. And so it's everything from sharing really great accountants that you like and, kind of more business oriented stuff to sharing a client and a customer. So, so it just turns out to be a really nice thing that way too.
Well, even being involved in something like this, like I feel like I'm learning more about Charlie's business. So now I can be like, I have this friend that's, getting ready to be married. I'm like, now I can be like, hey, do you know about CODIS events? Like, just kind of learning about, like Melissa said, in a deeper way about other businesses and then being able to network with them and push them out,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Go, Charlie.
No,
you go.
No, you go ahead.
I love that part of collaboration, though, that it really is just like another layer of networking and getting to know, fellow women in business. And it's like, there's this part of it to where just in being in conversation, you can, and you spoke into this too, Charlie, just like finding those connection points just by being in conversation. And it doesn't have to be like this big thing or just like this one layer of what collaboration can be. It's just like having a conversation and finding those connecting points and like just realizing like, oh, we can actually like do something because we love our dogs or, like, and that's just like, I love that there's so much room for opportunity and just possibility by just being in conversation and collaboration can be born from that. That's all. Carry on.
I will say, going off of the dog thing, I literally have clients that will put on their online forums like, hey, my dog's name is so and so, like maybe we should get together and like, so our dogs can play with each other. And I always think it's the cutest thing. So I'm like, yes, our dogs can play together.
We just became best friends.
Exactly. Now you're my best friend. So like we have to work together. Like,
I love that.
But as far as collaboration goes, I will say the St. Louis wedding planners have started like this group, and we've really started to get to know each other's brands and like get to know each other. And at first, going into the wedding industry, it did feel like this big competition, and I was just a small town girl planning dog parties. Like, I'm like, I don't know what to expect from the wedding industry at all, but whatever, we'll get through it. But now I feel like I'm growing more into my brand and growing more into myself. But then I have wedding planners, and I know that if we have somebody that's more like into like frilly and pink stuff, I'm gonna send them to Hillary J Events because I'm more of like a boho minimalist kind of vibe. So we might not match as well as we think we match, but I can always recommend clients to her or any of the other wedding planners that I know can better suit the clients. So I think through COVID and all of its mess, it's definitely given us a bright side to all of that. And even when we had the race relations chat and the wedding community last year, it just really kind of how you guys were sharing everybody's businesses and stuff, and I started sharing a whole bunch of Black owned wedding businesses, and everyone's like, oh, like we need to grab all of these businesses. And I didn't know there was a Black owned florist in St. Louis, or I didn't know all the different vendors and things like that. So it really just is about supporting each other in the long run.
I think we always want to make somebody happy, right? Like, yeah. I think any of us in any sort of service-based business, like if there's a customer that comes into the store and I don't have what they're looking for, I'd always rather try and recommend another store where I think they might find what they're looking for, because that's ultimately going to make them happy, which is ultimately, hopefully, going to bring them back around to me.
Yeah, and I found when I bring in clients, especially at the beginning, I just wanted clients. I just wanted clients, and I wanted everybody to like me, and I wanted to be that person for them. But as we're going through this growing phase, now it's like my people are coming to me. Like, I had a bride put on her questionnaire, she's like, oh, we listen to Frank Ocean all the time. And I was like, girl, me too. I listen to Frank Ocean all the time. So it's just like those people are coming to me rather than we're just actually finding these deep and meaningful connections rather than, I guess, settling. would be my word, and actually being able to give those recommendations and so on and so forth. So
Love that. I love the service part of it. I mean, it really is like, it's just allowing this layer of like, this is what I can do for myself, but now I'm going to let other people not only help me, but what can I do to help them? How can we, it's really just like this buildup of yeah, just another part of what you can be doing. And I had another thought and I forgot it. So Lindsay, I'm gonna give it back to you.
Perfect. So we've talked a lot about collaboration and making those lasting relationships, but to kind of unbake the cake, how do you identify what you have is what customers want? Because you all have nailed it. You know who your customer is, you know what they want. How have you gone through that process?
I'll give a shout out to Meg, because I took her course and tried to figure out who my people are. And since then, I've kind of just narrowed down exactly who my clients are and who I can relate more to, because I'm 24, so I'm still in school. I still work full time, and I relate more to middle age, like mid 20 people. So I know what they like. I know the aesthetics that they're kind of looking for. So I try to just wrap that into the photographers that I pick for my shoots, or the florists, and make sure I still give a little bit of myself with the boho kind of vibe, but still give what I know everybody will like in the long run. But I know for the Phenomenal Woman shoot, I kind of just like put myself out there and people ended up liking that anyways. So I guess I don't really have the right answer for that now that I think about it. But
That was the perfect answer. Thank you.
okay.
I was going to say, I actually think that's a really good answer. And I think, you don't always know. Like, I mean, we've had our store for 21 years, and I feel like we do have a pretty good sense of our customer. But we still like to be all things to all people. I mean, we do. So like when we go to market, we still try to think about making sure we're all over on price point, that there's, that it's really easy for people to come in and find something in our store. And we have to try things. Like you said, Charlie, sometimes we try things and we're like, okay, nobody liked that. We thought everybody would like that, So I don't know that you always know who your person is. You can feel like you do, but there's always going to be somebody who's going to come in and turn your world upside down, and you're going to think of that they were never have been a client of yours or a customer of yours, and they'll turn out to be one of your best customers. So, I think that's kind of, I really think that's very challenging to figure that out. And in our other business, it's impossible. I mean, we don't have a client. I mean, we work with, while we have industries that we like to specialize in, like the sports space is crazy. I mean, it's all over the place, what people are looking for, who we specifically have to identify as our customer. It's really super challenging to do. So I feel like that's I would say that's probably the toughest thing we do in our business. And you're always, even after 21 years, we still think, ooh, are people going to like that? We all love it. Are people going to like that? So I think you're always, so it kind of keeps you on your game. I mean, we do spend a lot of time, we research things, we try to find out, what people are digging, and we listen to our customers. What do they want to see more of? What, that type of stuff. So I just think that's a constant challenge in what we do. But I think we actually enjoy it too. So I think it's kind of a weird double-edged sword.
We have sort of a joking thing. We call it stay in your lane. And, somebody told us that a long time ago about, you can't be everything to everybody. And yet, that you have to stay in your lane. But it's hard for us to stay in our lane because we do want to make everybody happy. We want everybody to love Luso. We want everybody to love us. And so I think there is something to figuring out what your lane is, staying at least, on the edges of it, but also knowing, like Charlie said, when to recommend somebody else, because you realize that that's not in your lane. And so that's hard for us because, Melissa and I, like, we literally work together every day. So we're in constant collaboration. People are like, you guys really like each other that much? And we're like, yeah, because even when we're not working together, we're having dinner together. We go out places and people are like, you guys are really together a lot. And we are, but we're also not the same person. We have very much different viewpoints and different things. And so we're always sort of hashing things out and talking about things. And what we've realized is like, it is important for us to stay in our lane, because I tend to want to go for like a lower price point, because I don't ever want somebody to come into the store and think, oh my gosh, this store is too expensive for me. I can't find something here, And so I'm always, pushing to make sure that we do have a lower price point. But at the same time, we do need to stay in our lane and realize that our customer is a specific customer, and it is an elevated customer, and that in order to not be completely crazy making and always on the search to try and be this to this customer and this to this customer and be here and be there, that there is a certain amount of authenticity we have to bring to it, and really know kind of who our person is and who we are and what we're trying to fulfill. And then that, if we can kind of use that as our bumpers, as our guidelines to our lane, then I think that we're sort of true to ourselves and true to our clients, and we can recommend something for everybody else.
I think my motto of the year, because I've been doing a lot of, year reflections as the start of the year. But my motto of the year is, it has to be something that I can 100% stand behind. If I can't stand behind that, and if I can't, if the moves aren't completely intentional, then it's not something that I should be doing. So that's one of the biggest things that I've kind of learned about myself. And then that kind of helps me identify my customers too, because, these are, if I hear about their background and hear what they like, or if I hear their wedding day and I'm like, that's not something that I think I'm capable of, then I'm going to recommend them to somebody else. But if it's, I get this perfect couple and I'm like, oh my gosh, like we are, like, these are my people, then, I can give them the service that I know I can provide. But it's all about knowing who you are and how you can please those people and still being able to recommend them to other people. So,
and it allows you to be authentic, right? It allows you to really do your thing in an authentic way.
Yeah, to be 100% you and not have to act like somebody else just because you want a customer. So
Charlie,
it is my year of being that way as well. I am determined to only do things that serve me and really work for me this year. And so I love that you said that, Charlie.
The only thing that I will add to what Charlie said was, because I'm just like only maybe like 5 years older than you, Charlie. And so I think that when we started our store 21 years ago,
she was 5.
So many people that would come to us and tell us what we needed to do in the store. And like when we would talk a little bit about what we were going to do, what with the products we were going to have in the store and how we were going to build that and everything, we had a lot of people say, ooh, that is going to be, I don't know, that's going to be so different for St. Louis, and St. Louis likes what they like, and that sounds really risky. And I would say we got way more of that than we did people saying, that's a cool idea. Like, I mean, literally, I remember when we
certainly in the beginning
to our first market in New York and we were buying stuff, we were sweating it, because the whole time we were like, okay, all those people, everything that those people said to us, like, is that going to happen to us, and people aren't going to like it. And is St. Louis really like that? And, but we decided on that trip, we were out to dinner, and I was like, we got to do this the way we want to do it. Because what's the point of being successful and not really enjoying it? And you're always doing what somebody else kind of thinks you should do, or how you should do it, or whatever. So we made that decision that we were going to do it. We were going to buy the way we wanted to and the stuff that we liked, and we were going to put it all together and make it look cute and go with whatever happened. And so when you say that and you talk about that, I think you'll have a lot of success because of that. Because I think people really gravitate toward people who know what they're about and why they're doing it, and are enthusiastic about it. And you can only be excited about something that is really about what you like, So I think, like, I can tell, Charlie, just from listening to you talk about it, how much you enjoy what you do. And so I think that's just I think that you can't overstate that enough to be just generally successful in business.
I will say at the beginning, there was so much pushback. It's so discouraging too, right? Like
Yeah.
you're like, man, maybe I shouldn't be doing this. Or like, when I look at all the wedding planners, you see, like the pink and the frill and all of this, like the zhuzh. And I'm like, I'm not really into that. Like, should I? This is more like a West Coast style. Are there people in St. Louis that like that style? Like, are people actually gonna hire me to do this? And there's a lot of people that were like, absolutely not. Like, you need to slim it down. You need to fit into this one category. And I'm like, that is not me. I cannot do that.
I think the beauty in that is recognizing that when you see something like that, instead of thinking, am I not doing the right thing? You think, I'm doing something nobody else has thought to do yet. And then that is authentically you, which, I mean, 20 years ago, nobody used the term authentic. We were just doing what we liked, that we liked, but I think that it's tapping into something. It's a gap in your industry that nobody else is doing that. And that you have to look at that as a business opportunity instead of looking at it as, am I not doing the right thing? It's, oh, damn, I found something nobody else is doing. This is right. This feels right.
That's amazing.
I needed y'all in 2018.
You have us now.
I think that same thing has happened in our other business because
Absolutely.
we are women working in professional sports, which is dominated by men. And these men all have an idea about what they think women want to wear. It's crazy. It's just a fascinating thing. And so we have found ourselves with an opportunity to say, actually, this is like, girls like to dress there's a certain way. They like things to fit a certain way. They like fabric. They like, here's all the things that matter to them, instead of just taking a polo shirt and making it smaller and maybe pink and throwing some glitter on it and thinking that you've got it going on with what women want to wear to a game. So it's really interesting because here we are again, doing the same thing again, like, really going against the grain of what is all these people saying, no, I don't think that nobody's going to buy that.
Mm-hmm.
It turns out they do buy it. Girls do buy that stuff. So I think just, again, just follow your vibe and again, we wouldn't want to be making women's fan gear if we were making what is out there right now. That's not what we want to do.
Thank you. So I do want to make sure that I have so many questions because y'all are amazing, but I want to make sure that I give our amazing guests the opportunity to ask their questions as well. So I want to end with my last question that I think is really important. Can you tell us or recommend any tools or resources that has helped you in your collaboration? I also wonder how you find and connect with those collaborators. Is it through Instagram? Is it email? So that's kind of the last conversation. And then I want to jump into questions from the audience.
I'm a bit of an Instagram stalker myself. I like to lurk on someone's Instagram and see if I actually, like them or vibe with them. And then I might shoot them an email saying, hey, I have this project. I'll make sure I have like the base of the design kind of already done. And I'll say just, hey, I have this project. I was hoping to do it on this day. What do you think? Does this fit your vibe? And then we kind of just go from there. A lot of the things that I do are just education based. So I've been taking a lot of courses on wedding businesses and learning from these big wedding planners, just gaining all the knowledge that I can to build a business that can be more successful. So education has been huge, and being an Instagram stalker has been huge. So.
We're definitely Instagram stalkers as well. I think Instagram has opened the door on collaboration in so many ways, but it is an easy way to sort of identify somebody's vibe, but also connect with them because you can send them a message, you can comment, you can send them a DM and be like, I love what you're doing. Can we work together? Or just kind of start complimenting them or commenting on stuff and kind of see how they handle it. And so it is a really simple tool to kind of connect with other businesses, I feel like. And so I think that is something, but for us, I think the connections are all so much word of mouth. Everything comes from who we connect with and work with and then talk to, and then they connect with somebody else who connects with somebody else. You know, working with the Women's Creative, we've connected with Emily Stahl does art with us, you know, and so like that's been a great kind of collaboration for us. But then also we've started working with the City Foundry through, you know, the Women's Creative. And so it's interesting how different things kind of work. But also we're not afraid to walk into somebody's business. If you know One Time Supply down in South City, like we walked in his door one day and we were like, hey, I like what you do. Will you talk to us? You know, and so, I mean, I think the thing is if you like somebody and you want to collaborate, if you see them, you know, send them a message. Don't be afraid because you're never going to be able to collaborate if you don't at least communicate with them, right? So, you know, we send messages. I've sent messages to real random designers in New Zealand and Australia because there's so many fashion people on Instagram that are from Australia. I don't know. Maybe that's me, like my boho vibe. But I find all these designers and I'll be like, why are they always in New Zealand? Like, or some girl in Bali. We found some girl in Bali and we needed necklaces. And I was like, would you make necklaces in red and white so that we can put them in the bud shop for the Cardinals fans? Sure. I mean, like, who would have thought like I would have connected with somebody in Bali if I hadn't just randomly seen her? I think it was on Instagram.
I love that.
It's a ferocious tool.
Shooting your shot. Slide in their DMs and you'll be all good to go.
Totally.
All right. Thank you so much. Okay. I'm actually going to change my screen so I can see everyone here. Now we're in a gallery view. We have some amazing guests here who are with us. Hi, Jessica, Linda, Stephanie, Jules. All of them were initially Lindsay. So thank you all.
We were all Lindsay.
Thank you all for changing your names.
The night of Lindsay's.
Yeah, let's hop right into questions. And, you know, whoever wants to go first.
Well, you guys know I could ask you like all the questions all day long. One thing that I know that you guys are just all of you, and I can't wait to dig more into Coda events too, but I'm sure your ideas are like always all over the place. So it's like, how do you, whether it's just like a random idea or a collaboration idea, like how do you hone that in when you always have like so many ideas floating around all the time? And it's easy to get, you know, to go down like a rabbit hole with one that maybe isn't on track with what you're trying to do at the time. Like, how do you guys kind of just like stay on track or hone in or just like take them one at a time?
I don't know. Do we, Melissa? I think we joke. Have you seen that that Giphy that's the chicken and the discotheque that spins? That's us in a nutshell. We joke about that. Like it's all the time for us. We have a hard time saying no and staying in our lane sometimes. So I know what you're getting at, Jess. I think sometimes it's what we keep talking about and keep coming back around to. Mm-hmm. Like Melissa and I are in constant conversation, much to our husband's chagrin, and my children who are always like, are you on the phone with her again? Like, you know, because
at least your family.
Right. It's 24/7. But, you know, like if we have an idea, then like, yeah, I'll send her Instagram to somebody, or she'll send me a text and be like, did you see this? Or did you hear this? Or like, whatever. And I think things naturally bubble to the top. And one of the things I think we realized even maybe a couple of years ago, we kind of come up with like a word that's kind of our theme for the year. And a couple of years ago, we had flow, not force, as our theme. And that has served us well the last few years. We had a few things that we tried to force that we realized was not working for us. And so I think we've realized that certain things really do flow, and that you do have to wait for certain things to kind of bubble to the top or to keep coming back around to you. I joke about retail fatalism in that, like, if you don't buy something and then you go back the next week for it and it's there, it's meant to be. And if it's not there, it's good that you didn't buy it. I think sometimes something it keeps coming around and keeps coming around. You wake up, you're thinking about it. You want to talk about it again. You want to talk about it again. Then those are the things we're trying to teach ourselves to focus on the important stuff, the stuff that keeps coming back around to us that we really do want to work on.
Yeah, I'd say I do basically the same thing. So every time I get an idea in my head, I almost always start a Pinterest board just because Pinterest is like the holy grail. And then
I like that idea.
I make a lot of lists, and if something feels natural and it kind of comes back around, then I know it was meant to be. But if the idea is on the list and I'm like, I don't know where I was going with this or what was going on when I thought of this, and I'm definitely not doing that. I kind of just cut it off and keep going with what feels right.
I love your Pinterest example. And you know what's so cool? I was just listening to a podcast today. Anyone who loves marketing, there's a podcast called the CMO podcast, like Chief Marketing Officer. But I was listening to one today with the CMO of Pinterest, and she talked about a website that I had no idea about. Maybe you guys know this website. It's called Pinterest Predicts. And since everyone is looking on Pinterest about like trends that are coming up, Pinterest is kind of like Google, and that like they secretly know what the trends are before they come out because everyone's looking them up.
They sent out an email about that, right? I got an email about that at the beginning of the year.
Maybe. And like, I'm really bad at looking at all my like marketing emails, so I'm sure it's in there under whatever account I have my Pinterest connected to. But yeah, I was like, oh my gosh, I need to go look at Pinterest Predicts, because it's like telling you what everyone, like what's lurking. Like people don't even know what a trend that's happening, but they're like, all these different people are searching different things, and Pinterest knows that this trend's about to happen. So anyways, that reminded me of, but I love your idea of like creating the Pinterest board, because if you're dedicated enough to keep it going and like adding to it and being inspired by it, then it's like a good thing to go after too.
Yeah, and I hate clutter. So if it's an idea and I'm like, I can't with whatever I was thinking about, then it's automatically deleted. Because I'm not.
My brain is way too cluttered.
Yeah.
I leave stuff in there forever, Charlie. And then like one day I'll come back and I'll be like, do you know 10 years ago I pinned this and I think we should do it?
Yes.
Well, I have like
you came back around to it.
Exactly 10 years later, but you still came back around to it. I know with Pinterest, I use it a lot for I've gotten a few clients from Pinterest, so I try to keep it organized, separate the sections and stuff like that. But then I have a lot of like secret boards where I'm like, let me pin this just in case.
Yeah.
And then it just becomes a whole bunch of stuff. And I'm like, I
Your
can't.
junk drawer.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Megan, write that down. Charlie needs to do a program on Pinterest for us.
Done.
Oh, goodness, no.
Love it.
No, I would love to know more about how you organize it. I would. Because I just random save.
Yeah, so for Pinterest, I usually use it for my clients. Like as soon as I book them, I set them up with a Pinterest board and separate everything into sections, and then we just kind of go from there. That's how we start getting ideas going. So yeah, that'd be fun.
I love it.
Yeah.
Good.
So great.
Any other questions?
And you can also do it in the chat too, if you just type it out. Either way.
Yeah, I always forget about chat. I'm terrible at that.
That was one of the times I messed up a question because I was reading chat at the same time, and I cannot multitask. So so just maybe to kind of end this conversation, are there any exciting collaborations that we can look forward to from Luso, Tulu, and you, Charlie?
I don't want to give away.
Reveal them?
That's fair.
You can say TBD or
Don't give away your trade secrets.
Keep an eye out in professional sports. We've got an application in, and it'll be good if it comes to fruition.
Yeah,
that's so
exciting. How's that for a teaser?
You have to watch all the professional sports.
A few of them. the ones we don't really have in St. Louis. There's a hint for you.
Oh, that's a
Interesting.
teaser if I ever heard one.
But locally, I think we have some stuff that we'll be doing with the Foundry, and we're really excited about that. So.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Well, also, Jessica, Linda, Stephanie, Jules, you are all here with us. Do you all have any collaborations that you want to share with the group and also everyone that's going to see this later?
I always like to know why people are here, though. Like, what do you find interesting about collaboration, or what do you
that's good.
know?
Well, I'll answer both of them. I think one thing that's so fun is like, especially as entrepreneurs, like I just left a job like in a corporate company, so like you're always getting to collaborate and work with people, and I have like my own little startup, but it's like I always get almost like scared of getting like not bored, but like cut off from collaboration because I like that. I like working with other people. And so so I think that's what's fun about collaboration, even though like Luso, you guys have like your own like squad at the store. Charlie, I don't know like if you have other people that you work with in your business, but it's, you know, it's almost at least like fun to be able to, like, they're not your coworker if you're collaborating, but you're kind of like co-working on that project. Like you guys were saying when I hopped on, it's just like a fun way to connect and like network too. So that's really fun. And then a fun collaboration that I did this past year was with Dry Bar, like the blow dry bar company. I just met the owner's mom at a pop-up event that I was doing. And she was like, oh my gosh, like my daughter would love to do your jackets. So I did jackets for her location in St. Louis and then the Louisville location. So that's just like fun things that came about from like being a part of a pop-up event that never would have happened otherwise. So it's always good to just like get yourself out there for those reasons too. But it's just like, you know, and that's like so fun, and it's like good for my brand because I'm just like small and starting out. So that was like my fun collaboration of the year.
Congrats.
So fun.
What I'm sort of looking for with collaboration in St. Louis, my particular story is I, left 15 years of corporate doing product development and like manufacturing of bigger products for bigger brands, and burnt out and decided, okay, I really just want to be doing my own art. But I did this, during COVID. So those networks that I could have been developing over the years of being in St. Louis, I really don't have them because I've been in the corporate world this entire time. So it's really about getting my art out there and seeing who it does make sense to collaborate with or work on products together with. So I'm not handling every single thing on my own. It's sort of, if I was doing this at a large scale before, now it's sort of, I'm really trying to focus on being hyper local ethically, and it just feels better. So yeah, that's sort of what I'm looking for.
Interesting. That's very cool. I think don't be afraid to use what you have. I know when you're saying like you were in a corporate atmosphere and you had these kind of only had these corporate connections, if you still have those connections, use them anyway. You never know what they might lead to. And then I would say, St. Louis has amazing art festivals. If you want to DM me later, I have a niece who actually curates some of the different like art happenings in St. Louis, and she knows other people. And I think, don't be afraid to, find and follow on Instagram or on Facebook, a lot of the art festivals and the things happening, and just start telling those people. I know those people that run those things are always looking for new artists to contribute to things, new things, and so don't be afraid to put yourself out there and just, kind of cold call them on social media and be like, hey, this is what I do. This is my thing. I love your idea that you're, trying to be hyper local with it. I think people are really into that right now. And so use that as an angle and just be like, this is kind of what I'm trying to do right now. And I'm trying to, break into the art industry here in St. Louis. And, is there anything I can do for you? Instead of saying, is there anything you can do for me? Is there anything I can do for you? Is there a way that I can collaborate with you that might help you and help me, kind of thing? And, never know what might happen. What kind of product development did you do, may I ask? Or do you do?
Man, I'm a job hopper. So I worked in footwear. I worked in surface design, laminate industry, and I worked in the wall decor industry.
Interesting.
I know where to
So-
get things made. But yeah.
A lot of interior design and that kind of thing. Yeah.
Very
Interesting.
interior design adjacent. Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. Well, don't be afraid to reach out to interior designers. You know, there's a lot of people, our cousin does more corporate interior architecture kind of stuff. But they, you know, some of the mid-sized firms need people that specialize in certain things. And so that could be, you know, a good way to break into it as well.
Yeah.
Tell her. You
Great
tell her,
idea.
Julia. Love all of that.
And then Linda and Jules, do you want to share anything with the group? No pressure. Just want to give you the opportunity.
Mostly came just to hear all of your expert advice, and I own Espresso Yourself Coffee and Cafe with my sister in South City, and most of our collaboration has been like Meg from Praxis Designs we're expanding. I don't know if I need to put that out there on the women's creative. We're
I
opening.
saw you post that something exciting was coming up.
Oh my
We're
gosh.
opening
that's
a
so
sandwich
exciting.
shop right next door.
So
So-
exciting.
Almost everybody we use, I have met through the creative, or someone from the creative has introduced me to someone else. I mean, this whole process has been amazing, and just, I'm so blown away. When COVID first started, I didn't feel like I was doing enough collaborating with other businesses. So I started buying something from everybody. And then I realized I had no money. So just, it makes me feel good to be able to work with everybody else. And I mean, we have coffee scented candles we're going to work on with Urban Candle Company. Meg from Praxis is doing our logo. Everything from photography, whatever. So we also want to, once we open again, in like for more people, we love having pop-ups at the coffee shop. So if there's anybody, and artists, we have a dedicated space for local artists. I don't know, I've really just loved hearing all of your really good advice. So thank you very much.
I will say, adding on to that, with collaborating, I also tried to buy everything from everybody, but it turns out I do not have those kind of funds available. So one thing that I started doing when I'm collaborating, like on a style shoot or something like that, I know a lot of money goes into style shoots. So I've tried to start exchanging like headshots, or I tell everyone like that they have access to all the photos, or I try to get the photos published. I know that's kind of like one-sided just because, you know, I do style shoots and stuff like that a lot, but if everyone can get something out of it, especially marketing or something like that, something that can make their websites better, or if I can, you know, offer something, because I made my website. I'm not an expert in making websites, but I know a little some, but if I can help someone in a small way in exchange for another service or something like that, then I'm all for it. But I also found out that I do not have the funds to do so, but if it's something that I can do for free, then I am gung-ho to do it. So yeah, that's what I've done as far as collaboration as well.
It's 21st century bartering, right?
Oh yeah.
I think that we as small businesses and as entrepreneurs figure out ways to kind of make that bartering thing work. Like we work a lot with Joan Fisher as a photographer, and she's amazing, but we don't have the funds to get models. So kind of like you said, Charlie, we get like different people, or Joan has friends or whatever, and we pay Joan, and then Joan gives them headshots in order for them to model for us, you know, kind of thing. And then we like let them pick something from our website or whatever. And so we sort of, you know, pay in our way, and sort of everybody gets something good out of it without us actually having to outlay the cash.
Yeah. Just smart.
Free coffee, Jules. Give them a gift card, for whatever.
Oh, I do that. I work that angle all the time. It's my sister and I that own the shop, so she handles the money end of things, and I'm the creative. So I have to let her think that, like, we just are going to be working with a new photographer who is considerably more than we used the one we had before for branding, but her style is us. We're the boho kind of eclectic farmhouse, rustic, all the things. And so we got on a Zoom call today, and I had my sister there, and I let the photographer do the talking and explain how important all of that is. And my sister got up to go to the bathroom. I'm like, you got her. So I think it'll be awesome. And yeah, so. And I love your store, by the way. I've been.
Thank you. We love sisters working together.
That could be like such a fun, like theme conversation.
Aw.
Yeah. Right. It was funny because working with the Golden Gems girls, we were sort of joking, not that we're old or anything, but that they were sort of the younger version of us.
Are
Well,
they
then my
sisters
sister and I would
also?
probably be the older version of you guys, because I think age doesn't matter.
We're all about the same, right?
Who cares?
Oh, I love that.
Great.
Thank you all for sharing. This was so fun. And I think I learned a ton, and it was just a really great conversation. So as we mentioned in the beginning, we are theming out 2021 as a very practical year for learning and just engaging. So January was collaboration, as we said. Next month, we're going to be doing some workshops on finance, and then really diving into marketing, branding, and all of the different elements of marketing in the last few months after that. So thank you all for being here and joining in this conversation today.
Yes, thank y'all for your time. Thank you, Lindsay. This is so great. I wish we could all meet in person.
I know I missed you guys in person.
Goodbye.
Classic Zoom wave.
Exactly.